What kind of a person do I look like to you? White guy? Mid-40s? Maybe I work for a tech firm? I'm sure these tattoos suggest to you that I could very quickly get you to a microbrewery. But would you believe that I'm someone who's run nearly 20,000 miles in his life? Would you believe that I've lost 250 pounds? I think I could probably convince you of most of those things. But what I'm afraid of, truly afraid of, is that it would be hard for me to convince any of you that I'm the kind of guy who struggled with an eating disorder for 35 years. And I know, I don't look the part. Because when we think of people with eating disorders, we don't think about dads with daughters and beards and tattoos. In fact, if I asked you to think about someone who had an eating disorder, you'd probably look around and try to find the young woman from the after-school special who starves herself, cries in the mirror, and purges in secret. Now, I'm not discounting her experience. I certainly am not. In fact, when I see someone who looks like this, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because I have felt and done the things that she has done for a very long time. Since the time I was a little boy, I was consumed with what people thought of me. When I tell you that I lost 250 pounds, what I really should have told you is that I've lost 50 pounds 5 times. I started to diet when I was 11. I worked out twice a day when I was 12 to these videos of people doing aerobics that I would tape off of public access. I played varsity sports in high school, and after college I started to run obsessively. Now I have to tell you, no matter how many times, how religiously I did those things, no matter how much weight I lost, I never saw the body I wanted and truly needed in the mirror. Beyond the impact to my physical health, the anxiety consumed me to the point where I had to force myself to go to events with friends and force myself to go to work events. And that's a lot. I've started and sold a company. Now, what I have to tell you is that probably the hardest part of it all was struggling in secret. I never talked to my friends or my family, never mind my doctors, about what I was doing, what I was feeling. Truly, that was the hardest part. 5 years ago, I finally sought help. I found a therapist. She helped me deal with a lot of the emotional issues that I had. I also connected with a community of people online who were going through the same things, and I have to tell you, not a single one of them looked like me. Today I'm standing in front of you. My body is as big as it has ever been, but I have to tell you my emotional and mental health are better than they've been in a long time. I focus on being healthy, not skinny. Thank you. I focus on being healthy and not skinny. And today I can tell you that most days I like my body. So that's a lot. Before I stepped onto this stage, I probably shared this story with 20 people. I'm here sharing it with thousands of you tonight, not because I need your compassion or your pity or your applause, although I like those. I'm not here telling you because I think that my story is unique. In fact, I am here telling you this story because I am certain I am not unique. In America, 1 million men struggle with eating disorders. In fact, men make up 25% of all cases of anorexia and bulimia. Gay and bisexual men are 10 times more likely than their straight friends to deal with these issues. Now, men are less likely to starve themselves to lose weight, but are certainly much more likely to use excessive exercise to lose, and for some guys, gain weight. Men who struggle with eating disorders are also very likely to struggle with anxiety, depression, and substance abuse. So look at me. Take a good look. If you believe that someone who looks like me with this beard and these tattoos could be struggling with an eating disorder, think about those people around you today who might also be suffering. Now, I'm confident that if we can broaden what we think of when we think of eating disorders, we can save lives. Part of the challenge is that our friends and our families and our doctors don't recognize the symptoms. They don't expect to see us because we don't look like that young woman in the after-school special. In interviews with family physicians, they revealed that they lack the training, through no fault of their own, to recognize, diagnose, treat, and even talk about these issues with their patients. What's worse is that when a big guy like me shows up in the doctor's office, thanks to fat-phobic bias from some doctors, we're less likely to get the treatment we need. In fact, there was a recent study of 122 doctors, and in that study they presented doctors with fake charts from fat patients and skinny ones. And what they revealed through the study is that doctors were likely to spend 28% less time with fat patients than skinny ones. with some doctors stating that they found it was a waste of time to offer fat patients advice compared to offering the same advice to a skinny patient. So again, I tell you, if we can broaden our perspective and we can recognize these things and provide people with the help they need, we can save lives. I'd like to tell you about somebody else who struggled with these issues. This is my dad. I got a call from my dad just about this week last year. He had been avoiding his cardiologist. He told me that he wouldn't go to the cardiologist as frequently as he needed because his doctor shamed him. Because despite getting laparoscopic band surgery and losing 50 pounds, his doctor would shame him for not having the willpower, simply the willpower to lose more weight and to lose it faster. And so my dad was facing a complex triple bypass surgery. My dad, excited to live another 20 years, leaned into that surgery. Now, my dad made it through the surgery, but he never fully regained consciousness. 6 weeks later, on a rainy day in June, my dad passed away in the surgical ICU at a hospital in New Jersey. I was holding his hand. Now, my father and I never once talked about disordered eating while he was alive. But it's clear to me he struggled with those issues for more than 50 years. They certainly seem like they've contributed to his early death. And so here's my plea. To those of you who work in the medical professions, please take a moment to get the bare minimum of training to recognize these kinds of issues in your patients and to get them the support they need. A chubby guy like me is not just presenting to you with a lack of willpower. Second, to those of you who have friends and family who struggle with these issues, please ask those people gently, hey, have you ever thought of talking to someone about that? And finally, to those of you who can hear the sound of my voice, to those of you who are struggling with these issues yourself, and to those of you most importantly who are struggling in secret like I did for so many years, let this be your sign. Get some help. Find a therapist you can talk to. Come out here and find me or one of the other million guys who are clearly suffering from these issues. We're here for you. Now, my dad was built a lot like me. It's probably more correct to say that I was built a lot like him. He was 5 inches shorter than I was. He certainly didn't have a great beard like this. But I'll tell you, if I put this image up here 10 minutes ago and said, what do these two Italian guys have in common? The last thing you would have said was that they both struggled with disordered eating. Now, before my dad went into surgery, he gave me some great advice. He said, Pete, of course my dad called me Pete. He said, do not wait to get healthy. Get the help you need and get it today. And so I leave all of you, everyone here, everyone listening with that same advice from my dear old dad. Do not wait to get healthy. Get the help you need and get it today. Thank you.